Welcome to another episode of Correcting Horse Shit. I would have used cow shit, but that would be weird. On with the show.
And I want to step back and talk about what I think is really going on here. So Hossenfelder is a research theoretical physicist, which makes her very smart. She's one of the smartest people around. And she's saying that determinism is true.
No, she did not say that determinism is true. She pointed out the fact that the universe is deterministic. Determinism is for philosophers. So you can take your true, which is also philosophical, and you can say that it is correct to conclude that the universe is completely determined, not determinism. Good grief.
Certain of it. And what does that mean? What is determinism?
It is a philosophical position for people who wish to intellectually masturbate. Dr. Hossenfelder did not say determinism. She said universe is determined. Ergo, this person's whole video does not apply to the good doctor. Oh, good grief. Again.
So let me give you an example. Think of if I drop this pencil. From your high school physics, you know how long it's going to take to hit the floor, how fast it's going to go, how hard it's going to hit the floor. All of that is determined from the stuff you learned in high school physics. Determinism is that on steroids. It's saying that the entire universe is like that pencil.
Because, gosh, that's what is observed.
Everything is determined by natural laws.
Yeah, because that is what is observed.
The entire trajectory of not just a pencil, not just a few atoms, not just a few molecules, but the entire universe. And not just for a few seconds or a few minutes, for the entire history of the universe. Go back to the beginning of time, trace out the entire history of the entire universe. It's all determined. Everything is set in stone from the beginning according to these natural laws.
I think that is an accurate and honest representation of what Dr. Hossenfelder has concluded. And not just her, but a great many other physicists. So, kudos for that.
That's determinism.
No, it is idiot practice for philosophers and idiots to add ism to the natural world. It is like saying the general theory of relativity is you can call that gravityism. It is just ridiculous, and that is not Dr. Hossenfelder's position. Good grief, for a third time.
In a nutshell, it gets more interesting when it's applied to people. So determinism, at least according to Hossenfelder, applies to us as well, including the human mind.
Yes, and anybody saying the opposite is making an extraordinary claim. It is their burden to prove otherwise.
So now we're talking about free will.
Well, we are not. You might be. Dr. Hossenfelder was not. So it doesn't apply, dude. Really, it does not apply. Anything and everything that might be considered what is called free will is not in the realm of science. We can't disprove it. We cannot prove it. Therefore, it does not apply. And it certainly has no bearing on Dr. Hossenfelder's conclusions. Good grief number 4.
There is no such thing as free will, according to Hossenfelder.
No, she did not say that. That is why I called you dishonest in the comments section for your video. She did not say that free will does not exist. She did not say that free will does exist. It is null. It is not applicable, phenomena. Yes. She did not say what you said, she said.
All of your thoughts, all of your thinking, all of your actions are predetermined because your mind, your brain, is just, again, particles moving according to natural laws. So everything is all predetermined, preordained. Let me give you another example. Let's say you're going somewhere in your car and you're trying to decide whether you should get gas. You're looking at a number of things. You're weighing a lot of different factors. The gas gauge. How much gas do I have? Where's the nearest gas station? How far do I need to go? Am I going to get into traffic? What's the likelihood of a traffic jam? Will there be gas stations near where I'm going? Is the gas cheaper somewhere else? Can I get gas on the way home if I'm low on gas? All these things are factoring into your thinking. And by the way, this is all very important in economics, for example, which assumes that people act in their own best interest and make decisions locally and so forth.
Well, you could have left that section out because you already made the point, and so it's not for me to say that you should repeat yourself, but I have a proposition for you. This is homemade chili with beans. Very spicy, and if a human being is not accustomed to it, they will run around screaming, "Oh, the pain, oh, the pain, oh, the pain." Where does free will come to that? Are you free to not feel the burning capsicum? Anybody want some of this? I made it myself. Good shit.
So according to this Hossenfelder's free will hypothesis, all of that was predetermined. All of your thinking, your decision. You didn't make a free will decision about where to get gas. That was all predetermined. The gas gauge setting was predetermined. Every thought you had about whether or not to get gas, weighing those different options, those were all predetermined. What you did could have been predicted with a powerful enough computer and all the knowledge, if you had all the knowledge of everything in the universe, from the very beginning.
Yes, there is no known mechanism by which that could be altered. It is what we observe, so that's where free will is philosophy and does not apply here in the real world, even though philosophers would like to have us believe that they are important. If all of the philosophers just suddenly disappeared from planet Earth, would anybody notice? No.
That billions of years ago, it was predicted that you would go through that thought process and make that decision. So you can see things get a little strange here with this determinism and free will.
It is only strange to the people who believe free will happens. No known mechanism, so people who talk about free will existing, they are believing in magic, essentially, and has absolutely nothing to do with science. Dr. Hossenfelder is certainly competent in giving her opinion regarding what is generally considered free will, but she does so from a science point of view and not a philosopher point of view. And from the videos that I've seen of her discussing free will with other people, she kicked their ass with science. So this video is getting awfully long, so I thought I would trim some of it. If you want, you can see the whole video of this person, not in my crotch, but in the description section of this video.
Okay, so that's what she is saying in a nutshell. What are the problems with this?
The answer is no. If there were any problems with Dr. Hossenfelder's conclusions, she would not have made those conclusions.
Well, kind of taking off from what I just explained, free will is something we experience all the time.
Golly. You know how many people believe that they have experienced alien abduction out there? Or believe that astrology is a science and that it really does do what people claim that it does? Or other idiotic beliefs that people believe that they experience and it is not true? If people experience free will according to anybody who says that they do, as I said, the burden of proof is on them to provide a mechanism by which free will can happen. At the moment, nobody has come forward to say, oh, this is how free will can happen. So until then, the issue is null.
Everybody, all the time, experiences free will.
I do not.
Getting your gas, making your decisions, it's from you wake up to when you go to sleep. We're all making decisions, exercising free will all the time.
No evidence of that, so why even say it?
So the idea that there's no free will is, from the very beginning, a pretty heroic, challenging claim.
Well, gosh. You know how many events out there that do not happen, and if somebody says it does happen, who holds the burden of proof? You, dude. Fat chance he's going to provide any.
It doesn't really comport with the data at hand. We experience free will. Hossenfelder acknowledges this. She realizes it goes against our experience. And the way she casts the problem is it's evidence against evidence. You have evidence for natural law, and you have evidence of personal experience, and those are butting up against each other. One of them has to win out. So
That is not what she said. Both are true, or if you want to say, both are correct. Humans believe that they experience free will. Nobody denies that. Dr. Hossenfelder did not deny that. She did not say that one must choose one from the other. The correct answer is both happen. Why put words in Dr. Hossenfelder's mouth while trying to show that she is incorrect? It makes no honest sense. I'm beginning to think that this person has an ulterior motive for lying about what Dr. Hossenfelder has said. I can't imagine what the motive could be.
Could it be Satan?
she's formulating and framing the problem as a battle between these two, as opposed to seeing how they can work together. And she concludes that the natural law wins out. In fact, it's not really a conclusion. It's actually kind of an assertion. It's something she starts with. She just makes a bare assertion, which is a logical fallacy. She simply states, well, the natural law must win out. That must be true. Every decision we make, all the things we do are all preordained because, well, that's just what natural law does.
She has asserted that the laws of nature are exactly as they are observed to be. How is that a logical fallacy? Please point out the logical fallacy that she made. And if she had made logical fallacies, she would not have made them. So, trying to shift the burden of proof yet again.
And what we think is free will, our experience, must be some sort of an illusion. So her argument here really is not really an argument. It's just a bare assertion.
You are doing the bare assertions. It is a demonstrable fact that the laws of nature are inviolatable. So, produce a mechanism by which free will can happen. Until then, the discussion, it makes no sense at all. So, I don't know if this person is, flat out lying because he's a son of the father of lies, Satan, or if he's just can't see the flaws in his arguments. I don't get it. I don't know. But to be kind, I think he's just mistaken.
So that's problem number one. She's got a lot of evidence against her, and instead of reckoning with it, she simply makes a leap, makes a bare assertion.
Okay, I give up. What evidence is contrary to Dr. Hossenfelder's conclusions? Please present it.
She isn't really aware that she's making this bare assertion. This is kind of the strange thing. She makes the assertion as though it's a given, as though it's self-evident.
No, she stated a demonstrable fact, not an assertion. If she was behaving the way that you claim she is behaving, she wouldn't be behaving like that.
And she's very confident about this. She is supremely confident. And that brings us to the second problem I want to talk about, which is epistemology.
Epistofuckingmology. Nobody cares, dude. We live here in the real world, and we don't give a shit about your trying to change the meanings of words around. So, I'm going to snip that part out of this video of his because it doesn't apply at all. Like I said, you can watch his own video.
So, there's a couple of quick problems. There's many more problems with her position.
Okay, I'm game. Please name one.
I'm giving you a couple that are pretty obvious, should come across pretty easily.
If they were obvious problems, she would not have made them.
She's arguing against an enormous amount of evidence.
So, present that evidence, please. I would have thought you would have started your video with evidence that she is incorrect, but you don't seem to have any evidence at all. So why did you even make your video?
And she has no reason to think that anything she says has any truth value. Going again, and yet she has that confidence. So there's an internal contradiction there. She doesn't really recognize these problems.
What problems?
Either one of these two problems. Okay, so that's what she said. Those are the problems, some of the problems with what she said. And now I want to finish up by stepping back and saying, okay, what's really going on here?
The answer is, you're ignorant.
Here we have something interesting. I hope you kind of see, I hope a red flag kind of popped up for you, because on the one hand, you have someone who is frankly brilliant, right? We can say she's extremely smart. She's in the top, 1 percentile, 0.1 percentile, whatever. She's a theoretical research physicist, top brains in the world, right?
Yeah, that's right, because everybody knows that brilliant people in the so-called top 1% make obvious mistakes. I'm staring at you for a reason. I am mocking you, Amish man. What are you going to do about it?
And she's saying something that is frankly ridiculous. It's just to be frank, this is really absurd. She says we're just simply, the entire universe is just simply playing out from the very beginning of time at preordained processes. Every book that was ever written, every song that was ever written, every creative thought, at least what we thought was a creative thought, was actually something that was just preordained by the laws of nature.
Well, that's what all of the evidence shows. So I'm sorry that the universe is not behaving like you would like it to, but the universe is a bitch sometimes and it just doesn't care.
The works of Bach and Beethoven, they're all just preordained. And this gets very silly very fast. What's going on here? How could someone so brilliant come up with something so ridiculous?
Well, I have an explanation that I just want to throw out there. Maybe it will stick against the wall like spaghetti. Just want to put it out there and suggest that maybe you're wrong.
And so I want to step back and look at Isaiah and look at Paul, writers in the Bible who explained that we are naturally at enmity with God.
It may not be obvious, but I am mentally ill. This is a result or a comorbid with my being autistic. And I need medication to kind of soften the edges, and so I don't go berserk and rip off all of my clothing and go screaming down the ice cream aisle at the grocery store in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I am willing to give these pills to this person in the hope that it will help him. Helps me. So, goodness. So, that concludes this episode of Correcting Horseshit.